through the setup for problem number 9, 6.3, still dealing with exercise number 1. So problem number 9, 6.3, exercise number 1. And again, I'll just go through the setup. I'll leave the rest of the problem for you to solve on your own. So to begin to set this up, we need to construct our truth table, going through all logically possible combinations for x, r, and f respectively. So of course we begin here by counting the number of unique variables. In this problem, there are 3 unique variables. We've got x's, we've got r's, we've got f's. So we take that number and plug it into our formula to give us the number of lines in our truth table. The formula again is L equals 2 to the power of n, where n is the number of unique variables. In this case, n is 3. So we need to figure out 2 to the power of 3. And if, again, you struggle with exponents, just simply consult the chart in your text. Be sure not to multiply them. 2 to the power of 3 is not 6. 2 to the power of 3, rather, is 8. So given that there are 3 unique variables, we'll have 8 lines in our truth table, making this a fairly long problem. And if you can get through 9, you're certainly well prepared for the test, at least as far as this exercise is concerned. In other words, you won't see anything more complex than this problem come test time. So we take that number 8, the number of lines in our truth table, and divide it by 2. 8 divided by 2, of course, is 4. So starting on the far left with our first variable, we start with that number of consecutive t's. 8 divided by 2 is 4, so 4 consecutive t's, followed by 4 consecutive f's, filling up all 8 lines of our truth table. We've now defined our first variable. Every time x appears, define it in the exact same way, repeating that exact same pattern. 4 consecutive t's followed by 4 consecutive f's. So moving left to right, the next variable that we encounter is the r. So to define r, we take the number of consecutive t's that we had started with to define the previous variable, in this case 4, and divide it by 2. 4 divided by 2 is of course 2. So in defining r, we start with 2 consecutive t's, followed by 2 consecutive f's, repeating that process until we fill up all 8 lines of our truth table. T, T, F, F, all the way down. We've now defined r. So every time r appears, we repeat that same exact procedure. T, T, F, F, all the way down. T, T, F, F. Moving left to right, one more variable to go, and that's the f. To define the previous variable, we had started with 2 consecutive t's, so we take that number 2, and once again divide by 2. 2 divided by 2 is 2, so in defining f, we start with but a single t, followed by a single f, and repeat that, alternating between t's and f's, all the way down until you fill up all 8 lines. Once you've defined a variable, define it the exact same way. So one more appearance of f to go, tf, tf, all the way down. And that gives us all logically possible combinations for the value of x, r, and f respectively, without having to think about it whatsoever. So the remaining task, and I'll let you do this on your own, is to solve for the operators. Being sure to identify the main logical operator and solve for that main logical operator last, which in this case, of course, is the triple bar. So we want to complete the left side and then the right side, finishing up by solving the triple bar and, of course, applying the vocabulary.